Thank you for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. Up next on the program is the newspaper review.
All right, Chukwudi Okolie Ugbaja is right here with us this morning. Chukwudi, good to see you. Good morning to you.
Thanks for giving all the vowels in my surname their quality. You're a good woman. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Good morning.
Okokobioko.
I am the
How are you doing? Vicky boy. Good morning, my dear.
Good to see you.
God bless you.
All right, so let's get into the papers. We begin with the Business NG this morning. The Business NG leads with banks pushback as AMCON levy hits 847 billion naira. Calls grow to scrap AMCON after 15 years. Above that, Nigeria unveils Central Passport Center to produce 5,000 passports daily. That's on page 2. Above the masthead, experts divided over next net billing. That's on page 2. And yes, Rivers in the news. Fubara supporters disperse as governor stays away. That's on page 11. Looking at the bottom of the front page of the Business NG, now we have Nigerians dismiss federal government's 330 billion naira cash transfer claim. FG sets up pension council as 758 billion naira arrears mounts. Other stories are right here in the Business NG. Let's see the Daily Times now. The Daily Times leads with security, flood preparedness, state account balances, top neck agenda. That's on page 2. Above the masthead, customs intercept 5.1 billion naira worth of illicit drugs from India, Canada at Lagos Airport. All right, below the picture story, we have woman burns minor's private part over witchcraft suspicion. Details on page 2, not a good one. Next to that, we have COVID-19 not totally eradicated. Medical experts urges Nigerians to be on guard. And EFCC rearranged ex-power minister Agunloye over alleged $6 billion fraud, and federal government says that the first deadline for mining companies to conclude community development agreements. That's on page 15. And finally, we have 62 years after Nigeria gets centralized passport center, targets 1 week delivery. Details on page 14. So that's about it. Victor.
All right, thank you, Yembre. I have the Leadership Friday. And the lead story here is Rivers. Fubara not seen in public. Assembly resolves to probe Ibas. Supporters disappointed with governor, deputy for failing to show up at Government House gate. And Wike says he won't impose commissioners on Fubara, calls Atiku, Tambuwal consistent betrayers. That story is on page 4. And right inside the nameplate, government unveils mega passport center, promises 1 week delivery. That story is on page 29. Above the nameplate, I won't be blackmailed over doctors' demands, says Wike, page 7. Publish recipients of 330 billion naira payouts to poor Nigerians. Labour tells government. That's on page 16. And coming down the page, Niger, Benue, Rivers at peak levels, says agency. Which agency? Find out on page 7. And the Edo leaders want transparency in Osiomo power deals. That's on page 4. On the right-hand side, ADC wants Supreme Court to interpret section on emergency declaration. You get details of that on page 21. And just below that, Ajaokuta Steel Firm will be revived. Federal government insists. Page 23. And finally, Ohaneze 6 Nnamdi Kanu's immediate release is on page 14. And Lagos fire death toll hits 10 as Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, others mourn. You got details of that on page 24. Chukwude.
Yeah, Victor, thank you. Let me start with the determination to revive Ajaokuta Steel Complex.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong in that. 2 basic things you need for industrialization: energy, steel, You cannot do without them. So the government is talking properly. But I'm one of those who ask whether leaving Ajokuta Steel Complex in the care of government is going to be a very good decision, economic decision, you know. So they have to think about that. There's nothing wrong. In fact, it's very important that Ajokuta gets back on stream. But it matters how the management of it is going to be. Give it longevity. I would always think giving it to private hands because steel sells, whether you like it or not. Steel is a big money spinner. British Steel was having some issues the other time. I think government actually took it back because there were issues with those who were running it. But at the end of the day, steel sells. What it needs is proper management. So let's please look into that. What is the furore over seeing Fubara in public or not seeing him? The man has
not resuming, actually.
Resuming, that you didn't see him at the gate does not necessarily indicate he has not resumed. You know, well, there are people.
But he has to pass through the gate.
He does not.
It's possible he got there before those who were at the gate.
4 a.m. You know, sometimes Africa does not quite let you be yourself. You know, you don't become too zealous about my life or Yere's life. You let her be sometimes. The important thing is the emergency has been lifted. And we now expect people, actors in River State, to behave themselves for the benefit of the ordinary River State person. What did you read there? Fubara not seen in public. You said supporters disappointed. Then Wike says he won't impose commissioners on Fubara. Now, this is where I come in as a journalist, a public commentator. Wike is not supposed to impose any commission on anybody. I've not said he did. But the communication matters. When you put out headlines like this, you begin to legitimize something that should not even be heard in the first place. Wike is not a member of the River State House of Assembly. We should, as editors, mind our language as well. Well, if he said it, I'm going to turn the headline in such a way that it should not be thought about at all. Communication is everything. But as I said, I'm not here to castigate Wike on Wike, the roadmaster. To me, is a performer, you know. But we're talking Rivers politics. We must do everything to give that state a chance to please live like its neighbors in the Federation of Nigeria. Very important, please.
And the part you left out, the House of Assembly resumed yesterday.
Yes.
And is vowing to probe the budget and expenditures of the sole administrator.
Again, communication is everything. As an editor, I could have said, Abbas to give account of stewardship of rivers.
But
it
if
depends
that's
on what you.
They said.
I agree. I agree. No, I agree. We're also saying that the way we couch this headline sometimes would matter. Do you suspect anything? Probe. When you say probe, choice of words. Please, Victor, we're in communication. I know what I'm talking about. Don't go truculent when maybe there's no war to fight. You get bellicose over things that Abbas to give account of stewardship. Because that is natural. Auditors demand it. You must tell us how you run the state. But when you say probe, communication
like it's been found wanting or something.
Very important, you know.
Well said, Chukwudi. Some of the stories right here. Security, flood preparedness, state account balances, top neck agenda. The flood preparedness, you want to ask, is this the right time?
Preparedness.
Yes.
The floods are here already. How are you going to stop one of the elements? Flood finds its way, whatever you construct in its path. What you could do is to divert. That is how you handle floods. Divert to lower lands, you know, floodplains and all that. But if you stand in the way of flood takes you down. The elements are a force of nature. You can't tame them. They tame you. But again, to answer your question, is this the time to prepare? Let's be proactive and not reactive. I say again, much of what is happening is not really within our control. Climate change has melted much of the ice, in the Arctic. And water has got into the rivers, the oceans already. A little rain makes everything overflow. We are in trouble indeed.
And down here,
Yes.
Ohaneze Ndigbo is seeking immediate release of Nnamdi Kanu.
Again, the use of the adjective immediate. What power do they have for the immediacy? But I appreciate their concern and their wish. I have said several times, it's a pity that such a virile young man is pining away in the cell there.
And they hinged it on his health.
I wish it were a different matter. But again, I said something. Southeast people are in a better position to solve their problems over the Kanu incarceration more than anyone else. Ohaneze Ndigbo have come out in the open to speak. But who really is keeping Nnamdi Kanu in jail? Who? Maybe you need to ask politicians from that climb. Some of them will tell you, if it comes out, we're not sure of our lives anymore. We're not sure. So there are so many things working. That is why I say, please, Southeast people, sit down and resolve this. Government will cooperate with you when they know that there is no tendency for things to go haywire again. That is the truth. Let us learn to talk to ourselves. It's not everything you take to court. No. Africa had a way of resolving its problems. And I said one of the things that should happen in the Southeast is that the age grade system is respected. Mada Amonye Kia, in the traditional sense. What I just said in Igbo is everybody should know who is elderly to them and all that. You have to bring that into Southeast life for my brothers and sisters over there to enjoy the good life. But when everybody says, I'm big for my house, anything I like, it won't work. The calm must start from the Southeast quarters itself. May God help them as they sort it out.
May God help us.
Because the Southeast are a backbone in this country. That's the truth. Like every other person contributes.
Since you have mentioned God, we should also say God forbid to this story
What is
that
it all
says
about?
COVID-19 not totally eradicated. Medical expert urges Nigerians to be on guard.
COVID-19 actually will never be eradicated.
I agree, but I mean, nobody wants it at the scale that we did.
The flu,
vaccination.
The flu is a stubborn thing. I don't know whether to call it a virus, really. Some people argue it's not a virus. The flu is stubborn. You hardly ever can take care of it. Remember, I told you what my pharmacist friend said. If you have a cold and you take drugs, it leaves you after 1 week. If you don't take any drugs at all, it leaves you after 7 days. What they are saying is, what you need really to do is to keep your chest warm and all that, Antibiotics will help and all that. Cold symptoms are stubborn. COVID-19 is not going to go away. Let me not talk more than the experts. But COVID-19 has come to stay. But the good thing is that man...
We'll have to live with it.
We have to live with it. Man has also, thanks to Providence, found a way of curtailing the effect of it. But it's never going to be.
And before we let you go,
yes,
the Lagos fire death toll hits 10, unfortunately.
10?
10.
It's got to 10. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, 10.
FIRS says 4 of the staff.
UBA.
UBA says about 6.
UBA?
Yes.
UBA has joined?
No, but I told you yesterday.
You did, and I was saying that one of my colleagues in one of the TV stations I worked in was saying that happily their people were not affected. Maybe the head count, the body count had not been taken properly at that stage.
It was actually UBA staff we saw
really
jumping from the
Jumai
skyscraper.
and I were talking about high-rise buildings and safety conditions built into their construction. How good are we at it? If it happens
emergency
now,
exits,
emergency exits,
firefighting gadgets,
exactly,
and all of those.
firefighting gadgets. Do the lifts work? Actually, when a fire starts, within 10 minutes of a fire starting, the lift is not likely
And
to
then
work
capacity building. And then capacity building to be able to use the gadgets that are
That's
provided.
it. Very important.
And not panic.
It's just like we said, you don't build on the path of flood.
All right.
Also, make sure you do not build in such a way that you endanger lives. The integrity of a building matters a lot.
Well, too bad.
Chukwudi, we may have to let
experts.
you go so that you don't endanger my stay here. I've been warned that it's time up. But we thank you so very much for your
Let
time.
them kick you out.
We'll see you again on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.
See you guys. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Nigeria. We'll be back just right after this break. Please don't go away.